tummied a rash. So we're back again. This part that I was waiting for, after arriving from old 20 parts in England, and it is the underslung heat shield for the Ferguson 20 diesel. So I'm happy enough with how it's made. It seems strong enough. I like the way, am I right in saying yeah? So I'm just trying to see if I have to go taking off the silencer and slide or not, but when you take out them bolts, this half moon shape, half circle bit will come off. This one is probably light enough to bend, open wide enough to go on to the silencer, but I'd say what I'll end up doing is just taking off the silencer, sliding it back, leaving the downpipe on, sliding up everything into place and go about it that way. I think that's probably the best instead of going bending things. It'll be hard to get them back. But what I will do, and I'm only after doing it when I was working on the car there with brake discs and backing plates for that Golf of mine, is this paint, I'd say, is just its benefit from the good rust priming, because I can see it peeling off in places, and it seems to be kind of enamel paint, but I'm just going to beef it up a little bit. Just to stop rust setting in. It seems to actually now nice enamel paint, yeah. But at least if we put on another coat or two, we'll always have this underneath, because it is a little bit chipped here and there, and I just be, you know yourself, in this neck of the woods so close to the sea, you'd be talking rust very, very quickly there setting in. So, and I want to paint it grey, so we'll just give it a quick roughing up with this. There's a few marks on it as well, spot welds have kind of come through and stuff, so don't mind that. Give it a good coat of rust primer. So you really are fighting the rust around here. It's a bit of a losing battle now. Paint isn't too good in places there, so probably from spot weld did it. No, you can take a bit of that out, considering this is going to be facing outwards. Here, take a bit of that out with the sandpaper. Not looking for perfection around here now. Just to give it a bit of grip. It's a really nice quality part. It's been in storage for a while. You can see there's a little bit of rust just setting in just down there. And that's exactly the kind of place now where I'd like to get sealed up. You just see a little bit setting in there, so worthwhile doing this instead of just fitting it, and the fact it has to be straight painted grey anyway. So we'll take off the bolt. Might need a washer on one side here. Yeah, it's going to be nice, a nice little part. There's our washer. So we'll pick out another washer for this, for the bolt. We'll throw it in the shop blaster if we want it. And just give it a quick dart. I don't think it's going to be needed, just to get paint roughened up a bit, just to take a bit of rust by it. I know it's a heat shield now, but it's not going to get that hot on the diesel. that's for sure. Yeah, they did a nice job on it, like it's nice and strong along where that bend is. Whatever machine they used to stamp there, it's really strengthened it up lovely. Very impressive, very hard part to get, as in it's not every tractor parts supplier stocks them. And I think it definitely makes a nice job of the underslung. When it's on, it should look a bit more substantial. I think it's a little bit bare looking, just the pipe coming down. As I probably showed in another video, the gold belly was like this from factory, but just the heat shield was incorporated into the foot plate there, with an extra plate underneath it and a bit of asbestos strip. So that was the way they looked. I don't know if I liked them. I did ask a question lately on a Ferguson Heritage Forum if the 35s had this, both the Ferguson 35s and the Massey Ferguson, because I did see a lovely original style Massey Ferguson red grey 35 TVO with one of these on that looked to have be old, like as an original, but I was told no, they never came at these. The heat shield was under the foot plate. I do like them. Would have had no problem ordering another one for the gold belly if it had it from factory. And I wouldn't be too fussed about fitting one to a gold belly either. I mean, as in, I don't think it'd be the worst thing you could do either. But no, I'm going to leave the gold belly the way it is. So the paint just kind of missed in behind that bracket there. So yeah, but definitely give this a bit of attention. If it was painted grey, I'd probably still do it. If there was still bits of paint chipped off and stuff, I think it'd be worked out. I don't think many of these heat shields survived on original tractors up to now, especially on the TVOs. TVOs would heat these a lot more, causing the paint to come off and rust setting in. I'd love to see the quality of an original one. Say they're fairly good. Now let's get the socket and we'll take him off. These bolts are fairly long, I will say that much. I think there's a captive nut in behind here, I don't feel, which is a nice touch. You didn't have to do that. And definitely means that they have a bit more making on them. Yeah, so captive nuts, nice job. Yeah, we can get in a little bit further in behind there. All around that bracket will be important. Get it all sealed up. Lovely. So look, I'm going to go finish this and I'll get it primed and we'll take it from there. The primer does not take long to dry, and I have a heat gun there, which is the wife's old hair dryer. I find that does the trick to dry it. Usually dries in about 10 minutes. And probably be able to have this top coated then tonight. And tomorrow evening then when it's dry, we'll be able to fit it. Yeah, so I started painting the top, then I realised I'm better off painting the bottom first. Makes more sense. Find this Tractol rust primer very good. Quick drying and all of that. I prefer it under here to paint it on by hand. You're not going to see it, but at least I know I have a good coat of it on. That should keep it preserved for that bit longer. Because everything is dripping with condensation in here. Anything that's metal. It's where there's no roof on the head at all, basically. So what I'll do is I'll dry this side first, and then I'll turn her over to the top, and we can be a bit more fussy about that top where we're going to be seen. For under here, that'll do just fine. Let's try and work it up into that joint up in there. Not the joint where it's folded over, because that's where the moisture and all would like to sit. At least it is a part, I suppose. It's not too hard to remove. You could check it in a couple of years and top up paint and stuff like that, because as I said, it's only one company that I can find stocking them. I wouldn't like if I needed another one, because this one was rotted because I didn't paint it right. I wouldn't like it to be out of stock or them stop making it, because it's not a part, we'll say, that's probably, you don't see it on every one of them that has an underslung exhaust. So now that I actually got one, and I had to pay customs, Irish customs there, 23% of the price, €5 as well on top of it, to open up the parcel to make sure it wasn't a consignment of drugs. And by the time I paid the Irish post another $6.50 to bring it to me, along with the post to the parcel depot in England, along with paying in sterling and all of that, it does make the £36 sterling this cost significantly more expensive. I got another few parts there as well from the company, because like that I noticed that they stocked some parts that you just can't seem to get in other places here. So when I was paying for the postage, I had them parts ordered as well. I might even go through some of them there if I think there's an interest in it, just in case you're doing up a similar tractor yourself and you're wondering where you get that particular part, and if I've managed to get it from there, it might put you on the right trail, right track to getting it. So that's perfect for what we want here. It's lovely, lovely paint, I have to say. It's real tacky, and the top coat will stick to that like shite to an army blanket, as they say. Okay, so that's ready for a blash to the Hake gun. There's probably a few places around that I've missed there. But yeah, that'll do. We'll get the heat gun at that, and come back then when we're doing the top. That paint literally, as you hit it with the hairdryer there, it literally changes colour, dries. This rust primer is getting old. It's really thick. I could mix a bit of thinners in with it to make my life easier, but I like the thickness of it because it's just going to do its job that little bit better. It's a little bit, when I say old as well, it's a little bit lumpy here and there, but you can usually just work it out with the brush. And we're not looking for an award-winning finish on this. tractor isn't in that sort of a condition. So I'm trying to go making this look savage altogether. It is the kind of primer now, I can tell you, it's like a build primer nearly. In other words, you could paint on loads and then sand it nice and smooth, get all the brush strokes out of it, and even a few of the imperfections in the metal out of it if you wanted. If you did want to be looking for that perfect finish. But mind it, then again, if you were doing that, you'd probably be using a spray gun and not paintbrush. That's all I'm interested in, because I'm so close to the sea here, is getting as much of this rust primer onto it as I can. Act as a good base for the Ferguson grey that'll be going on top of it. Right, let's turn this around. Yeah, I'm impressed with it, I have to say. Paint on it was nice, that nice enamel, but if they had painted it enamel grey, you know, you probably could get away without doing a whole lot with it, just fitting it. But it's just when I saw the few bits of rust, this could have been sitting on a shelf for a while, I said no, now is the time to coat her up. It could have been a lot lighter. It does seem to be a quality part. I will give them that much whoever I'm making it. I think it says it's made in Great Britain, I don't know. It's very strong around there with all that fold on the metal and the kind of stamping that they did on it to kind of strengthen it even more. Impressive now, I have to say. I think it's definitely worth 36 sterling for the quality of the product and hopefully how it's going to finish off that underslung exhaust. We're going to do it justice by fitting this, I think. So that's basically all I'd be expecting from rust primer there now. Work out a few of the brush strokes, considering it's just coat number 1, that's not too bad. I think the grey will definitely take to that, and we can hit that then with the hair dryer. Sound very professional using a hair dryer, but believe me, it really works with this paint. This paint is, as I said, it's all it actually really needs is a little bit of heat. Because it dries so quickly, as it's drying on that, it's drying on that as well. So kind of the first shocks of tinners soft topic. Be fairly quick about getting the tinners on that brush because they're gone solid in due time. So you can literally see the colour changing as it's drying. Yeah, it's savage stuff for drying. And there we go. That's how quick it dries. Savage stuff for drying. Probably a little bit wet there in some places, but we're no mad panic by the time we get the brush gone to cleaned up and we get the grey paint mixed up, we're ready to go. And that's what I love about that stuff. Nothing worse than having to wait until tomorrow evening to go and paint something because you're waiting on the previous coat to dry. That is a pain when you're in the humour for doing a little bit. It's way better to keep her lit, as they say. But yeah, that's going to be a nice little job in now. Okay, so let's go and get the grey. Give that a few little bits, a little bit shiny there yet. That's probably a little bit wet. I'll give it another blast of a heat gun. So let's give the grey a bit of a mix. I think the cold weather kind of destroys the paint. It's gone a little bit lumpy, but it is, as you can see, it's rubbing out it, and it'll be perfect for all we want to do here. This will probably need 2 coats, that's the only thing. But, a little bit lumpy when you put it on first. Very thick, but suppose that's only going to help us do what we want to do here. You don't have to be super fussy under here, you're not going to see it. I'm only doing this just to preserve it. I fitted new brake discs on the car there, and I know from experience of fitting the front ones that the paint on them around the hub there usually rusts and discolours and looks crap very quick. So did the same thing, sanded, put on the agri-spec Tractol rust primer and painted them with Hammerite silver. Didn't need to do it, but I did. Just like this, I probably don't need to do this, but hoping it's going to last a little bit longer. If we were living in the Sahara Desert now, we probably wouldn't have to do this. Nice dry climate, but considering we're about 200 metres from the Atlantic Ocean, we do have to mind anything metal around here. Do a final touch up on any of the places we will see, like that there. Even after it's fitted, I can go in there with a small detail paper and just try and work it into all the little nooks and crannies there. May as well, because don't you know that's where the bloody rust will start. But like to this part, you won't even see it until it's rusted through. There's a big bubble on it or something. So may as well just go that extra bit. Okay, that's easy done now, that is. Let's try and work it up into that fold a bit there as well. That's where our maestro will sit. Yeah, looks a bit like a narrow coal, what do they call them, a coal scuttle. Okay, that's probably good enough for under there, all things considered now. Alright. Start in the middle. Try and work it out then. Yeah, not the worst of a job now. Probably be a little bit streaky because the paint is getting a little bit old now. It's probably about 3-year-old. I think the frost in here as well. Well, not even you don't get frost, but the cold temperatures I think kind of make it kind of turn into a jelly after about that time. So we need to do a bit more brushing to try and get a bit of a finish on it. In some places there it's just not mad at sticking on it for some reason. We can do a final touch up if we want to be fussy. Many jobs we do here, this is more for preserving it now. Lumps there now, I'll try and work them off. They want to stick there for some reason. We get it when we're touching it up. Lovely. It's come together nice. Get some of them brackets in there. Yeah. This paint will definitely take longer. We won't be able to fit this part today, that's for sure. This evening, that's for sure. So what hard? We'll do for a first coat. What temperature are we in here now? We're just at 10 degrees, so it's not cold really. Where a little streak is going on there, it's not happy taking. Oh, it's actually a high spot, that's what it is. It's actually in that black paint. It probably needs a bit more paint. Oh yeah. Alright, so I think that'll do for the first coat anyway. We'll see if it needs probably enough for painting for the job, to be honest with you, but we'll see if it needs another little touch up after it's fitted. I'd say it's probably good enough. So yeah, I suppose the best thing to do is to come back when we're ready to fit it and see if we have to go pulling this apart much. I have a feeling the best thing to do is to take off the bracket there. As you can see, it's bloody rusting already, fuck's sake. Soaking wet with condensation. We'll take that off back there. Take that off. We'll slide back. We'll slide on the heat shield over that. And we don't need to slide on the heat shield over this because the bottom part of the bracket can be removed, so that's handy. I never even looked at this. How is it holding in there? I have to hit that with a spanner. See the rust on it already, fuck's sake. Anyway, yeah, that's what I said we'll do. Drop this, let it back, and put it on over it. You have some space under there. Yeah, we won't be going back too far anyway. Gets a little bit tight back towards that bracket there. But we'll try and keep it up a good bit. I'll look at some photos and see roughly where it's meant to be. I don't think we could bring it right up, of course, but I want to get it looking half right. So I'll look at some pictures, get a reference point from roughly where is it meant to be coming up to, and that's exactly how we'll do it. We'll fire up this venti and we'll bring it up because we have to do a bit of stripping anyway. It's been here for a good while, probably 10 days. Give it a few seconds of heat. That'll just warm up the exhaust, so it's nice and toasty for the hands. So I'll get a few tools now and we'll whip off the silencer. So we'll whip off this bracket here. It's a bit long to use my 1/4 inch socket. Definitely going to have to put a little bit of grease in this bolt because it's the nut is stainless, I think. The bolt is kind of galvanized, and you can see rust that's on that, and you know it's only fitted about 3 weeks if even. So that's that. I'll just get a wide screwdriver for that. Poke it forward. There we go, we'll leave that in it. And now we can put on our 9/16, and I think I need a bit of an extension, so I'll set you up there for the back bracket. Okay. Lovely quality studs then. There we go. That's starting to make a move there. So we'll move the camera back out of the way. We'll drop it down a little bit so you can see me trying to struggle to get that off because I was feeling that was fitted. The paint was still a little bit wet and it's going to get a nice grip on it, and it is. My Jesus, got a grip on it. Holy God, I might have to drop the whole pattern. Down pipe. Mother of God. moving a bit better. Any wonder it wasn't leaking anyway. There we go. Wow. Yeah. So that's actually a great idea if you're fitting these in your painting or downpipe and you don't plan on taking it off again. Fit it when the paint's still a little bit tacky and the heat then goes through it. It gets a good seal on it. Yeah, sticky like. Anyway, that's that. So that's another job done. So we're just down to our downpipe now. Okay, so it's very much just a trial fitting here now. So we slide that up underneath there. We have an air lead a little bit in the way. Okay. So that's roughly the way it's going to probably look there, is it? Yeah. So it does kind of sit above the pipe nicely. It does beef it up a little bit. Okay. And then we have to remember to put this back on. Probably out of frame there. We have to put this little bracket back on. Easy to forget that. Slide him up. Okay. Now, wait till we see. Bap, bap, bap. No, we don't. We put that to the other side. This has to go this side of the bracket underneath. Okay. Because this has to slide down over. Okay. That's got to be like that. Right. That's okay. Then we're going to slide on her. Sideways, sir. We can push that till the lines up. Yeah, it lines up with the lad at the back there. So if we get that done first, that would make the most sense. Get that bracket on. That'll keep that right for us. Okay. So we need a little bit springy this washer and nut. May as well tighten it up because that's the kind of thing I forget to tighten. She is good arm at the end of there. Give him a nipping. I'm feeling I would have to return to that bracket at some point with a bit of clear varnish or something on it because that getting pitted already. And what is it? It's on there. Not even on 3 weeks. Okay. So we'll drop the camera down again. Yeah, I'll come back when it's dropped. Okay. So we got our silencer back on right up to roughly where it was before. Okay. So now we've got to pull the bracket. I have an air cleat in the way. Just not even in the way, just rubbing things. Okay, so we're sliding over that silencer nicely there. Exactly the way we want it. Right. And we see there you're still in shot. And we can slide down our silencer bracket. We can widen them a bit. Now, I suppose what we need to do here is figure how far forward we want this. So I'm going to push it forward until it just goes around here. That's the way I think I'm going to do it. And that'll give us the most, it'll stick out the furthest there. There's no point hiding it under the, if you ask me, no point hiding it underneath the foot plate. So we add another washer onto this. Start to tighten him up. Mind you, it's the front bracket that's a lot heavier. Hopefully now that'll actually grip it. Starting to tighten up there and it's not really gripping. So we'll just slap on our spanner here. Let's see. If not, I'll have to put a bit of rubber. Ah, it is there. Just about. If there's rattles out of it, put a strip of rubber around it to be the solid finished. So now we can turn our attention to the front bracket here. I'm going to leave that in black actually, because it's going to suit the downpipe. Okay, we have captive nuts. So again, if this isn't a tight fit, strip of rubber. In fact, I'm going to put a bit of strip of rubber on it first before I tighten it. I can't get the camera to go down low enough to show me actually fitting this bracket, but yeah. So there's a little bit of rubber there. So we'll get this lined up, slide in the rubber. And that should stop vibrations and rattles and all of that. There's a lot of stuff hanging off this exhaust. That's if it'll fit. Whereas my other bolt has gone. Might have thought I brought it down. Have a quick look here. Yeah, here it is. Shot A. Oh, right. They're long enough. I know I was complaining about them originally. These bolts being too long, but you go putting a bit of rubber on the bracket. That would probably just as well that they're long. Yeah, rubber is a good idea, I think. Not in the way of brake rods or anything. Very impressed with the quality of this bracket at the front. It's lovely and strong, I have to give it to it. There's nothing wrong with that. It's good and heavy. We're good and solid there now anyway. If there's any rattles, I'll put some rubber in the top. I will have space for it. And pull off that little bit we don't need. Yeah, they are something I am going to have to keep greased, them bolts. So we just have to move this back a little bit to get it onto the silencer and give them a tighten up. So I'll have to get a wider screwdriver there. And looking, you probably see, you can probably see it there. Wider screwdriver, get that pushed back, get the bolt put through it. Maybe it's the top, maybe it's the actual heat shield that's catching it. Feels a little bit restricted in some way. It doesn't want to go any more forward. Ah, there we go. That's the job. There we go. All good, ma. I'll put a bit of grease on this lad now. Some of that lithium, that black stuff, I think is the way to go. And well rattled, put some on this one. The ones on the front. This stuff is great. Lovely kind of a chalky kind of a grease. My dad used to work on airplane engines. And used to bring home the odd little tub of this. And the well sealed stuff as well, that Indian kind of stuff. We hard enough got. Lovely. And tighten up. Right, this will give this bracket here a nipping too. Okay, now I can put a bit of grease on him, and on the one in the front there as well. Oh. Now that's what we're looking at. Have I done it right? I think so. Yeah, I think so. Any of the pictures I saw on the internet, the front of it was kind of in a roundabout there. I can't really come up any further without pushing the downpipe into the silencer. But then again, I wouldn't be lining up with my lad there. So I think it's probably about right. Probably about right. It kind of looks to me it's sitting higher here, and it is because of that bracket under here, whereas this goes right up and around, so that has to sit down lower. But that's probably the way they were from the factory, like. If not, that's all we have to work with here anyway. But when you look down along here, at least the gap on under there looks fairly straight to me, I suppose. Yeah, let's take a bit of getting used to, I suppose, the look of it. Let me know in the comments anyway if anyone has fitted one of these or has an original one, if that looks right or wrong. It's probably the best I can do there at the moment anyway. Yeah, I kinda, if I want to be very fussy, I think when I fitted that silencer there, I might loosen the bracket. It's just coming down at this angle a little bit there, so I might loosen that bracket again and just push it upwards, and it'll shove itself up a little bit more. That might just lift this up a little bit, level it out a little bit more. I think that's probably all I could do there. I think if I want to be very fussy, and I'm not very fussy, but when you have all the tools in front of you, I suppose it's the time to do it. Let's give it a little loosen so it can go up. See, will it go up? Or is it happy? Okay, see what happens if it goes up. It hits one of them bloody bolts there. We're probably better off leaving as is. Now mind you, I can cut them bolts. I had to cut bolts on this foot plate before for them being too long. Yeah, it's just catching. These foot plates are aftermarket, and like everything else, sometimes the bolts are just a bit long, and it's just catching the one on the inside if you try to lift it up a bit. So probably better off leaving good enough alone. So there we go. What a captainship. I presume it's just meant to be on like so, not turned outwards. I presume it's meant to just go on that way. Yeah. Not looking too bad, I don't think.